Scott. Hello, everybody. It's Sunday morning. We're ready to go. Scott's sitting in his chair, being a good person, and I'm sitting in my chair, being me. So, and I want to thank all the people who popped in early and asked questions on my channel. But we're going to start with a couple topics I put in. Tulsi Gabbard. We can take her off our bingo card.
Tulsi resigning out of favor.
Yeah, and you said you thought you'd heard before her husband had cancer before. This could be a reoccurrence. Or could be.
Yeah, I heard news before he was dealing with cancer.
God, if I was married to her and I was dealing with cancer, I'd ask her to keep her job. But what can I say?
Why is she leaving? Why is she leaving? You know, the felon likes to get rid of the women first.
Oh, I know.
In the past, I get you as a good little soldier for the government. Mm-hmm. Do whatever was needed. And then I get there was some kind of betrayals to the felon. She was kind of a spy or something with the Page of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
She did try to make things better, but her outcome, there was heavy burdens of her being in her position.
Mm-hmm.
The energy was off, and there was something about information. So I get the 10 of coins, but it doesn't feel like prosperity. It feels like information.
Mm-hmm.
So I think things that she was doing or information she put out put him in a bad position. And so she had to go that way because of what she was doing with her job with information, or what she, extracted or tried to put out, something like that.
What I got was when she went in with Trump, it was like the 5 of Cups reversed. It's like, okay, now I'm home. I'm where I'm supposed to be. But she ended up with the 10 of Swords in her bag. It's a little bunny with 10 swords in his bag. And her current situation is she also has the 10 of Swords. And I don't think they're making up that her husband has cancer. That's a hard fight. She's letting go. We're not going to hear much from Tulsi, one way or the other. But in the end, I don't understand this. I wouldn't trust the woman as far as I could throw her, but it says she's going to get a temperance card in her life. So maybe she's going to get herself some personal grace out of this, which would be a good thing to have happen, considering I think she's a lying, cheating snake that works for the Russians. But other than that,
yeah,
what do you really think?
There was problems. I was reading that she extracted some information or something. Maybe it was from 2020 or whatever it was, and released false information, even as the CIA and themselves said, don't do it.
Mm-hmm. It's not right. Yeah.
Not right. So she started getting in being on the out there.
She's a Putin puppet from a long time ago. And I never understood the Democrats letting her run for president, getting that kind of a forum and that kind of a stage. And I know we're going to let anyone run. No, you don't. I don't know. What's it in Wisconsin? If people change parties, if they were a Democrat, became a Republican back in the days when people used to do things like that, were you politically aware enough to understand the transitions they had to go through to get from here to there?
No, I didn't.
In Texas, they made you crawl over glass. If you're a Democrat and you want to become a Republican, but if a Republican came over and said they want to be a Democrat, they'd just let them in with open arms. And I never understood it because they always ended up being a spy. They were never there for the real reason they're supposed to be.
Imagine that.
Bees on the White House lawn. I like this story. Apparently on May 15th, to give you some background for those who want to know about bees, on May 15th, they were going to have some sort of press conference, and thousands, I've seen pictures that reporters were taking out of the windows of their cars when they couldn't get out of their cars because there were so many bees. You can see the swarm of bees against the White House because it's a White House, right? And I didn't hear about this story till after it all kind of happened. But there was a swarm of bees that hit the White House lawn, and I think that's kind of funny because I've talked to several people in the last year who went through infestations of bugs or something that hit their house, weren't hitting the neighbors' houses, only their house. And then we were talking about the kind of energy you can call in to do that. Or my favorite explanation of this was what coven was next door? What kettle, double toilet trouble were they brewing and causing this to come in? So where did the bees come from, Scott?
So in the past, I get bees are a good energy.
Yeah, they are.
Part of earth and part of prosperity. So the situation is a negative one. So I get the Knight of Swords, kind of like a warning, some kind of hive coming in. Some kind of dishonor. And then Eight of Swords with tensions. Outcome is Moon, Justice, and Four of Coins. It feels like the bees came in for some kind of negative energy balance or something like that. That's all I'm getting.
Okay. Well, there's a couple other stories that I heard different points of view on this. One is that when Michelle Obama had her gardens and her food thing, she also had a cluster of hives, which the first thing that went when Trump showed up was those got gotten rid of. And then also recently Melania showed up with this teeny little bee hive thing to show Prince Charles that they had bees on the White House grounds. So anyway, I got a feeling this was revenge from someone, and I don't necessarily, I think it was, I really think it was human directed anyway. Someone got together and said, let's do something about this. This is a Nine of Pentacles. They're living in their comfortable little house. They feel like they're really safe. Let's show them how randomly things can hit against them. So now they're being very, very defensive. Now, did it achieve that? And they're not going to be successful. I think I have a lot of friends who, I don't have tons of friends. I have acquaintances and people I've met through this community who their extracurricular activities might include belonging to a coven. And I think it was human directed. I think it was somebody who engineered them to be there. And I don't think somebody stood on the edge of the fence whopping a lot of bees out. Anyway, it's kind of interesting because infestations are always interesting things to look at. Energetically, they're always negative. I've never known of what would you infest your house with that would be positive, right?
Yeah, there was a story I tried to help a friend of mine, and they were having negative energy in their house, and they couldn't get rid of cockroaches. He'd vacuum them all up, clean them all up. The next day, there were just as many back in the cupboards and whatnot. And I kept telling him, it's your house. This negative energy and force in your house is waking these things up.
Yeah, I was talking to Tim Walter, who does house healings, the guy that lives in York. And he and I were talking about a lot of the times that they'll go in and they'll find out an infestation is tied to a negative force that's pulling it in just in case, just to make you feel real icky. And the other thing I just thought about this, I just saw a video about how the rat population in New York City is diminishing, and they couldn't figure out why, because they'd spent $32 million on rat catcher people, and the rats kept growing and growing and growing. And what it is peregrine falcons, two kinds of owls that are in Central Park, and some other bird, they've all come back to Manhattan. And they've all come back basically since Mandami started being there. And they knew something weird had happened, because all of a sudden in certain parts of New York, the rat population they count them all the time, just try and keep track. And the count had dropped, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And then they went out, the bird people went out and found the peregrine falcons nesting up on the roofs of the high rises. It's perfect. I mean, that's just like the cliffs they were meant to be raised in.
Weren't they trying to feed them like birth control, something or other too?
No, well, none of that stuff worked. All the stuff, the $32 million of rat catcher stuff and control. Yeah, they do like they do with deers. I understand they shoot deers with birth control, try and control the deer population. But they're saying that the bird population has finally recovered from getting the DDT out of the food chain. Anyway, but I think it's because Mandami's there. I think the birds are coming back and they're going to kill all the rats because Mandami's there. That's my own personal thought. Do you see Hawaii's bill, Senate Bill 24? What this is about is implementing a Stronger Citizens United. And the person goes on to ask, because when you ask me questions, if you ask it in long chunks, it comes out in two parts. Wait a minute. Will Montana have the same bill? Will some form of Citizens United become law and hold on the state level?
The Montana plan is going to the people. In November, they're voting on it.
Okay.
They're trying to enact something through the state constitution.
Okay.
To make sure it's stronger, but many other states have tried and it got turned over in the courts. Like I think Maryland tried and they got shut down the courts and how they had it worded or something. Okay, Hawaii's bill. There's expected lawsuits on the Hawaii bill. I haven't start yet, but it doesn't start till July of 27. So, okay, this is a bill in Hawaii. How is this going to play out?
Okay, I can go. I can say that they see these people think that they live in these comfortable houses, and they didn't think that this action would be taken against them. I don't think Hawaii's version is going to hold, but they keep trying, and eventually they're going to find the right weapon, the right way to deal with this, and there will be a way to hold up and be defended against that a large amounts of money coming in. I think it's going to take a while. That's what the bunnies say.
So yeah, in the past I get the Three of Swords, so yeah, it makes sense with injecting all this dirty money into politics.
Mm-hmm.
But they've had strength and standing before with that Supreme Court ruling. So the ruling has caused severe heartbreak. The current energy is the devil, obviously, with getting rid of the greed. Nine of Swords and Hangman. So all that money has caused a lot of fears, frustrations. The Hangman is the wording and the laws are getting better.
Mm-hmm.
The deliberate action, there's delays and everything like that. Oops, drop a card. Moving forward, I got restrictions, Ace of Cups, and Four of Pentacles. Restricting money. I think it's a good start, good way to go. Outcome. I get a Tower, 6 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, understarted and walking away. Money problems. I gotta decide if this means the bill's in a Tower or
I think the money tower is going to fall. Does that make sense with the way the cards look? So,
I think it's Citizens United and that thing.
okay.
But I get the 6 of Pentacles. So it feels like to me you can't restrict it with the 6 of Pentacles, but you can even the flow of money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a good start. It may hold, or there might have to be an adjustment to it. Some reason I'm feeling like with that 6 of Pentacles, you can restrict it, but you have to equalize it. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're going to give money to $2 million to the GOP, you need to give money to $2 million to the Democrats. It's like an even flow, so it isn't powerful into one system kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at questions further down the line, Scott. I'll be right.
No
Y'all can go get a cup of coffee or something because okay. I'm gonna try to get and then
because like right now what I've read is that the people that want to tear down our systems, mainly the right wingers, have a 3-to-1 advantage in how much dirty money they put into politics.
mm-hmm.
It could be a way to equalize it and make it fair. But it's like, why can't these people that give all this millions of money just pay their people a little bit more in healthcare instead of injecting it all into politics for policy?
When I was in graduate school, that was an issue about the amount of pay that our executives were making above and actually in Japan, they had your chief executive could only make so much more than your average worker. And there was a thing, and they would just lose it whenever that issue came up. Okay, another fun topic. Leaking chemicals. 40,000 people have already been evacuated. Garden Grove, California, for those of you who don't know, is in Orange County. And this tank, from what I could read, the tank wasn't terribly well maintained. They've tried to go in and do the things that are supposed to be like release valves, and they're all gunked up and gummy and they won't work, which means that health and safety is not a high priority on this thing. And if this thing goes boom, apparently this stuff's really deadly, not to mention the fact that there's a giant crater in the ground. So, and some woman who lived near it, I read it in a newspaper article, she's outraged because she's been having to live with her parents for 2 days, which would have outraged me too, but living with my parents, but there were reasons. But she said, how could they have possibly built these chemical plants so close to people's houses? Well, that's why you have strict regulations. Anyway, so what do you got, Scott? I'm asking if they find a way to contain it.
Well, the past cards show a disaster ready to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I get good cards in the end. So there's some kind of leader figuring something out with the sun, and then Ace of Cups. It's abundance and good things happening.
So what I got for my out card was the Ace of Cups. So I think
I got community coming together and other leaders with 4 of Wands. And then I have a victory with the 6 of Wands. And then Queen of Wands, strategic leadership. So it looks like it's gonna they're gonna find a solution, so it doesn't blow up.
Yeah, I got a feeling it's not gonna blow up. They're talking to a lot of different people who want to solve the problem, not just let it hang fire. Then the answer is not going to be nearly quickly enough to make everybody happy. But these are great cards for the outcome of this situation. The World and the Ace of Cups. You couldn't ask. I mean, that means
I got good cards too. So
yeah, and I did read in one article that was put out because I didn't know anything about this, and I don't read news, guys. You're the only reason I read news. You're like my Sunday newspaper. And it was an hour ago it was published that they were talking to all the mechanical and chemical engineers at like Princeton and Harvard and all those things, and they were talking to them about possible resolutions, and someone was projecting there should be a way to make a small hole and let it leak out and contain the stuff outside the tank. That all sounds, going near that tank with anything that looks like a drill would seem, I don't want to be the bastard with that job, let me tell you. But I don't know what they're going to do, but it's going to be a good outcome. So thank you for bringing Puka Rabbit. Thanks for bringing that in. Oh, now let's get, these ought to be interesting cards, but I'm not going to use my bunnies or good people. I'm not going to use my bunny cards for that. Weird Cat Tarot. That seems like the perfect deck.
I grabbed my cat cards. All right. JD Vance after November 4th. How's JD?
Oh, yeah. These are all the cats that have these big eyes and they'll look at you like, what are you doing in my lap? Okay. They don't have eyeliner on my cats, so I should get a deck that has eyeliner. Not really. I'm not going to invest in JD.
Cash Patel eyes.
How could you tell if Cash had his eyes on you? Which one is you looking at?
That's funny. JD Vance after the midterm. They're trying to rig the system.
Mm-hmm.
That's the current energy. They're trying to rig the system. Well, I got the 9 of Cups on the bottom, so the Democrats are victorious.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, through law and negative energies, they're trying to do everything they can to rig the system.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to break it down with the 8 of Pentacles, Magician,
Mm-hmm.
Cups, thinking they're gonna be victorious. But I get the 5 of Cups, severe loss, death,
Mm-hmm.
ending of the Republican Party, and 5 of Wands, a lot of infighting. Outcome, 4 of Cups, regrouping, and a new system developing with the Lovers, Page of Cups, and 9 of Cups. So he's not going to be happy.
I got, they were trying to steal it, the 7 of Swords reversed, they don't get to. and they didn't move fast enough to get control of everything to try to do that. Then I see he's still out there dealing with his dirty money friends, and they're still going to be there. So there's nothing we can do about them. But then I got the Queen of Cups, and she keeps showing up, and I don't know who she is. I'm not sure it's really a person. I think it may be the new empowerment of the female energy. But anyway, the outcome at the end of the election is justice.
Good, good, good.
So if there's justice, I'm going to pull a rune on this one too. I dug out my runes last week, Scott. They've been fun to play with.
I just can never remember the symbols.
Oh, I don't. I have my little book, and I look at my little book. I don't remember. It's like when I teach tarot, I teach people to use cheat sheets till they can see them clearly enough.
Yeah, I wrote down a cheat sheet when I tried using them. They work, but it just took so long to look up every rune I pulled and figure it out. So I kind of gave up, but I got them sitting around somewhere.
I got for him that there are going to be possessions at the end of this, and it came out reversed, which means that he's going to be walking away from the community wealth that he thinks he has access to. So he's gonna feel like, oops, he should have stuck with this first book instead of shifting faces again. Of course, what do you expect from a man who's had 4 names in his life? And if you've ever talked to numerologists about people who shift their names like that, after you change your name, it takes 6 to 8 years for the new numerology to settle in. So he's never had a name he's been settled in. It means sort of like very Sybil-esque there in the way too many personalities in one body. Pooga Bear. Will Cuba receive any humanitarian aid from other countries soon? Well, didn't we just say we're going to arrest his Raul Castro?
Yeah, the 94-year-old has an indictment against him. From what? 1960 or something?
I don't know.
Supposedly they downed a couple of aircraft or something. They indicted him on something from 1960s.
Don't get me started. That's been the biggest screw up. The only thing I could say about is the Cuban Missile Crisis. We could have all been a mere wafting of waves in the universe if that had not gone the right way, Scott. There'd be nobody physically here.
I see Mexico's president said they're continuing to help as much as they can.
Yeah, I know. Yes, Jeffrey just went to New York, settled all the business he had up in New York, and he's back in Mexico City, never to return to New York City. And he and I talk about their president. I mean, the president's down there. He's not a Mexican citizen. He's a U.S. citizen that lives there. But
poor Cuba's in a 5 of coins feeling.
That's not looking good for Cuba.
They're on the negative energy of waiting, waiting and seeing, saying their prayers. Any help has been slighted, stopped. The 5 of coins, so they can't gain any prosperity. Like Mexico and others have tried with the magician. And then I get the world, King of Coins, and 7 of Cups. So it feels like some countries or whatever are doing their best to help through secret means or whatever with that 7 of Cups.
It's a little hard when you're an island You mean, you can kind of, and it's a compact place.
Mhm. Outcome, the Fool, so opportunities. Then I get a Tower. Then I got Three of Swords and King of Cups. So things right now are thwarted, just
Mhm.
not good. With a Tower and Three of Swords, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of struggle. Right now, the energy isn't good.
No, this is what I got where they are right now. The Nine of Swords. They're really caught. They got two nines. Got the Nine of Swords, which is, I think, one of the ugliest cards in the deck. You got the Nine of Wands reversed. They weren't ready for this. They still see themselves as fighting the good fight, but they don't have an in with the power structure anywhere because they don't have Russia. They don't have anybody supporting them. And they end up just desolate on the beach. The Five of Swords. I think the main card in there for Cuba right now is the Nine of Swords. I don't see an answer. And when you get nines, people say, "Oh, the Ten of Swords is the worst card, hard card." But I'd rather have the Ten of Swords and be done with it than be living with the Nine of Swords for sure.
Yeah, I got the Three of Swords.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. Okay, let's get a bright one. Catherine T. Will former DC police officer's lawsuit be successful in stopping the $1 billion slush fund?
So Harry Dunn and I forgot the other guy. Yeah, those two filed.
Mm-hmm.
I think was it the slush fund or was it the?
They stopped
Oh,
them.
yeah, I was thinking ballroom. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they filed a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's dead in policy. A bunch of enough Republicans are saying no.
Yeah, but let's just see if their suit helps slow it down. Because he wants to put his picture on the American dollar bill and hand them to everybody. So would you go get a passport with his picture on it?
Nope.
Got it again.
Forever taint that image.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that passport to burn.
I got that the slush fund's never going to go forward, and it's based on we're in so much trouble, and people see it for what it is. It's just a cash grab to give people money that haven't earned it. So that's kind of my summation. The other cards around it were equally as grim, but I think it's going to be successful and stop. It's going to slow it down till we can get a Congress that can say absolutely not, or until he dies, and then we don't have to worry about it.
I'm getting in the past, it was always a illusion, delusion, fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That would never pass. Page of Cups is the offer. Ace of Coins is the prosperity. And then Three of Coins is kind of like creating this fund. But the outcome is a no.
Okay.
Justice, 10 of Swords, 5 of Swords.
No to the slush fund or no to them stopping it?
No to the slush fund.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was concentrating on. Judicial work happens. 10 of Swords is done.
Mm-hmm.
5 of Swords is all those conflicts. It's my January 6th card.
You're gonna
No, it don't happen.
You're gonna love the next question, Scott.
I will.
Happy Sunday. I would like to know what the young lady is feeling about tattooing Trump on her face. When I read this, I thought, you know how you've heard that phrase, they had stupid written all over their face? Well, ta-da.
Good Lord, these people. Good Lord. tattoo. That is just silly. I'm like, how can you have a career in anything and then people come see you and it's like, hello?
You know, I had a friend who got all her tattoos so her business suits would cover them up. You can imagine, because people say, people see you with the tattoo, they won't want to hire you for a professional job. Man, you couldn't put this girl in the drive-through.
Flip fries.
Yeah, this is what I got in the tower. But she came from a home where her parents thought that was cute.
Yeah, I think you're right. I got the 6 of Cups too. Oh my Lord. Yeah, her outcome does not look good with a career or anything. Loss of money, problems, struggles. 5 of coins.
Well, I'd hope so. Why would you want to put why would you want a tattoo other than eyebrows, maybe? Or eyeliner?
6 of Cups, very naive about the king, the mad king, the felon. She's not quite right there because I get the moon on her making this decision. So I get the 5 of Cups on the bottom. There's gonna be painful regret, grief, feeling unloved.
Hey, we got an update on this immediately. Hey, the lady with the Trump tattoo, it was only temporary. Well, still stupid. I don't care how temporary it was. And there will be somewhere for the rest of her life an image of her face with that tattoo on it.
But you know that guy that says he's a rapper and he's all in with the felon and whatnot, and he's got tattoos on his face. He's got this weird beard thing. Well, he just got another tattoo, something on his chin about Trump.
He probably did, because
he did. He's got all kinds of.
Well,
he's got his face on his chest, and oh my God, he's just.
I have a whole thing about tattoos. Two of my kids have tattoos, and my youngest one doesn't. And my oldest one has.
No, not Jelly Roll. I can't remember what the heck his name is. He's a MAGA rapper.
Stupid something.
I think his Twitter handle's like Trump's nephew or something like that. Black guy.
Okay.
He tries to make raps that are just dumb.
Okay. Reality TV bro Spencer Pratt is running for mayor of LA and is in second place now in the primary. Will Bass win in the end? Okay.
How did these reality stars ever get any traction?
Well, we're reality stars, aren't we? I feel like I'm real. I don't know about being a star, but
we're not running for the mayor of Chicago or anything.
Nope. Nor would I want to. I know what it takes to be a mayor. Although in Dallas, our mayor that became a Republican is trying to get rid of our award-winning city hall, wants it knocked down and made into something else. And then somebody came up with a plan to cut major road arteries from South Dallas into the city. Oh, it's good. We're about to have a huge fight. It's going to be fun.
Star of Temperance. Okay.
Well, I got Bass, and I got a yes with the 6 of Swords. She's going to do it. Mayor, she got the Sun, which is always a yes. She got right side up. She's got a lot of good people working with her, helping her get it to go. That the people in LA understand how important it is to have somebody that's really in charge of that. And she's got the Knight of Wands, which means she's carrying her image as one of someone who's leading them into good things. So I got Bass will win in the end, and that's all yeses. And when you lay 5 cards, I rarely get all 5 yeses. So what'd you get, Scott?
I do have a Queen of Cups winning on the bottom. It's kind of weird how he's got support to me. I'm not sure what this means, but I get the Hermit for Bass here.
Mm-hmm.
Strength, Temperance, and the Star. So this Hermit talks about trying not to get involved. So I don't know if she's trying to ignore some topic or something.
Maybe she's ignoring him.
That could be, but yeah, Pratt's trying to be the magician and trying to play both sides with the 2 of coins. But I don't really think he gets enough traction here with the 4 of Swords. 2 of Cups, 4 of Swords, 10 of Cups. So he doesn't get that happy home with that 4 of Swords. Kind of weird toss, but he's just feels like a con man to me.
Well, somebody was saying in the further chats that he got thrown off the BBC because they considered him a fraud. And considering some of the politicians they've got running around in England now, he must have been pretty bad. Trump and Rubio say there's a deal with Iran is close. Do we have
the deal out there? Is they're going to get more than what they had before.
Let's see. I'm just going to do quick because I really don't want to spend a lot of time.
Oh, the net says yes. Pratt plays both sides. Okay.
That shows an incredible amount of good spine. I got the 8 of Swords reversed. Yeah, Iran's going to get out of whatever isolation. Iran's going to walk away the winner on this, and that's what it's going to the rest of the world. And despite what Fox News says, that's what it's going to look like. And they should. I mean, they were just sitting there, and all of a sudden their schools are getting bombed.
What a waste.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we did is a major failure with the 10 of Swords. Trying to be the strong men with the King and Queen of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get some good news with the 8 of Wands. Built on universal love and community. So it seems like there's a deal coming.
Yeah.
The Chariot, Knight of Coins, 3 of Coins. Or 4 of Coins. So 4 of Coins is holding their money. Knight of Coins would be an honor deal. And Chariot happening. Taking charge. Yeah, I think they just want out. We want out because it's been so bad politically. Besides all the damage that was done, Iran's going to walk away the victor. There's 13 to 17 joint bases to repair.
Mm-hmm.
I read Japan is supposedly ordered like 400 Tomahawks. And Hegseth told them that there's going to be delay because we used them all up in Iran.
Thank you, artist Liz. Do we see the Dems celebrating in December? This is a good question. Thank you. It's a positive question.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the good bunny cards. I'm not going to use the crazy cat cards.
Okay. The feeling of the Democrats Democrat politicians in December. Only Democrats.
The Democrats did finally publish their autopsy of the last election. It's almost a complete sham. It's not any of the way it would have been looked at before. It's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It means they still haven't figured out. They're still not ready to face what they. So groups within states are taking over, and
It's kind of silly. It wasn't much in there. Basically, they blame Joe Biden for not supporting Kamala enough.
yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, High Priestess.
Oh. What you got, Scott?
I'm still dropping.
Okay.
Two.
I got the Six of Swords. They're moving on to a new place. And I got the Six of Cups. Means that's going to be their time to shine. They're going to be in the Empress's seat, which is really good things. They're going to be out of being in the Five of Pentacles, which is being the outcast. That's done. Their problem is they're going to have trouble fighting. There's going to be some infighting among themselves, which we already know is coming, mostly between who's going to have real leadership. And but I think they're going to be really happy. And they have to get their act together because they have to move very swiftly on some of this crap he set up to happen in January.
Yeah. Empress and High Priestess.
Good.
That's the energy. That's good. The future unrevealed is abundance.
Cool.
We're tired of the Mad King, the Emperor, in the past position. We need some celebrations and the world. Eight of Pentacles doing the hard work, the moon and the sun. I think that's telling us that people are going to take it to heart of what's been going on. Been a lot of fear with the moon, anxieties, betrayals. Everything's coming out. We'll see it with the sun. And then releasing the suffering. Strength. Six of Cups, trying to change the past. And then a breakup with the Three of Swords. So I think those are telling me that the breakup of the chaos. That's what it's telling me in the end here. To break up the chaos and changing into the strength. So yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
You always hate those short memories.
Yes.
In politics. Those October surprises. But most people don't really care until it's time to vote. And then they hear what's going on in October. But I think this chaos with the economy is hitting a little deeper, and people are going to remember this.
Yes. What is your gas at in Wisconsin?
Diesel actually dropped for the work truck 30 cents Friday.
Oh, okay.
It was like $5.69, and then on Monday, and then it went up $5.99 until Friday, and then it dropped down to $5.49.
Yeah, the one I saw as I was driving down the road, it was a $4.15 a gallon, $4.19 a gallon, which you guys, I live right close to where it's fixed, where it's manufactured. So, and that's high for here. So, and I know that it's always much higher in other states. Okay. Is the slush fund another grift to pay for the ballroom bunker at all? No, Okay, I'm going to ask you yes, no. Are all these things just abstractions so we don't go back looking at the Epstein files? Actually, just be a distraction of not having to look at him.
Well, again, I guess it's a failure. The slush fund's going to have a tower.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I do get the Two of Swords card. Which way to go with things with that money?
Mm-hmm.
I get Blanche coming in here with the King of Swords. Grift, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Which way to go, but it's going to be a failure. Outcome is the Five of Wands. Conflicts, obstacles, arguing, lack of energy. Page of Swords, a dirty dealing. And Knight of Cups feels like a payout. So I get nothing of a ballroom. I think it was a agreement for payout. I think he's just gonna, and I'm sure 45 was gonna take some of that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but no, it was it feels like a slush fund.
Right. I get that nothing's going to happen from it because there is no transformation. These things don't happen. That something new is coming that's going to really bring a whole new era in. It's going to be the end of the heartache. And what these things keep getting waved in our face, they're going to make people say we need to be building together, not apart. And we're going to finally really strengthen the rules about how somebody can just go around ordering this be done or that be done. That's going to get stopped. And there's going to be teeth put in the laws that block those things from happening.
Good God.
What?
Silk Steel said her gas in Tucson was $2.80 when he took office. Is almost $2 more a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't remember what regular is here, but it's been going up.
Well, you drive a truck, so it's not fair to ask you.
I see the diesel price more than
right. Is there any traction on getting attorneys and legislative folks into the centers, into where they're keeping they're closing a lot of those centers. And if you watched Rachel Maddow was 2 weeks ago, she talked about all the centers that have been closed or are closing. They're still not, they're getting them into Dilley, but it's still when you don't, and they're getting people out of that. Dilley is a detention center in West Texas. They're getting people out of there. So when you say, is there any traction? There's always been pressure and traction on working with those things. What's most important is they're not building anymore. They're not even trying to build anymore. They've pulled the people that were running the let's go buy all of the big office complexes and turn them into prison camps.
Yeah, I seen the Inspector General for DHS actually took up the investigation on all the grift of those centers being, the warehouses being purchased.
Yeah, they bought for twice the price they were on the books for. Yeah.
It was estimated like almost $60 billion was spent by Christine Alm and Corey Lewandowski.
Has she left the Marine house yet?
Yes, she was booted out. Okay. Yeah, she was booted out.
Good. God, that woman. Don't ever trust anybody that will shoot a dog unless the dog's a rabid. Supposedly we have a peace deal with Iran, do we? We already did that.
Yeah, we think there is.
There is. And it's that he has to get out of that. And this is somebody, she wonders if Republicans are hearing the voice of Liz Cheney in their ears. No.
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 The only ones standing up are the ones that lost their primaries.
Well, and see, guys, as soon as the primary season's over, it's Katie bar the door, because a lot of the, the people that, a lot of them that got voted out, they're not out of office. They're in office till January. Now they can do whatever the damn well please, and they can show what it really means to serve the people you work for instead of stealing from the people you work for. Okay, this is going back to the bees. Israel is dealing with locusts and crows right now.
Good. That's a negative energy there.
Yeah. Want to know when what was it? Frogs? Wasn't frogs one of the plagues in Egypt? Ew. Okay, I'm gonna try and find a question. Will Cuba hand over Castro to the U.S.? I don't know. You know, the Castros are not beloved among their people either. It's just we kept doing screwy things to the people there so that they hated us more than them. But I mean, they like that.
What would be the point of handing over a 94-year-old man?
Unless he wants to come to take the pressure off, who knows?
Yeah, you get free health care and live to be 105.
Tell you, no, they're not going to do it. They have no inclination to follow any plan the U.S. would send them. They don't see how that's going to make them any more secure. It's not in their plans. They still have a warm spot. Raul, actually, of the two brothers, he's the one they like the better. They kind of have warm feelings towards him. And it's one last way for them to say screw to the U.S. So, no, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I get restricted walking away. Any deal, I get a death card. 8 of Cups walking away. I get a disaster on the bottom with the 10 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get 8 of Swords in the end, restricted. Military action, whatever, or protection. And then staying home with the 10 of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see him going to the U.S. Yeah, the other day I read a story about a guy that was had all kinds of health issues. He's 59. He lost his job, lost his home. He was on the street, so he walked into a bank and demanded he get $1. This is a stick up. I want $1. He ended up getting sent to prison for 3 years. He got all his health care taken care of while he was in prison.
It's true. In Dallas, when they used to get taken out of the loose Sterrett jails, they would send them to Parkland. So whenever they sent someone to Parkland, they had to send 2 officers along with the guy to watch him while he was in Parkland. So anyway, finally, some genius realized, my God, if we had a center at the jail, we could save all this money. So they built a beautiful, and it is gorgeous. I got a tour of it 2 days before it opened. And yet, granted, you're locked up and all that stuff. And the hospital beds do have cute little things that they can clip your wrist to keep you in one place. But it was a gorgeous health center. And the way it was all structured, and it has saved this county so much money to take care of it that way. Okay. Our crematorium, here's another topic. Our crematorium is going to be built in the detention centers. No.
I don't think so.
No.
A lot of those places and warehouses they built have no infrastructure for water and sewer.
Oh, I know.
It was never going to happen. I think this paid off these places were sitting there empty and the owners were losing money.
Mm-hmm.
It was a payoff.
Mm-hmm. When people quit having to go into offices, it was an immediate, and all of a sudden I don't know what it's like where you are in Wisconsin, but down here there was all sorts of large office complexes that are just sitting empty. There's towers in downtown Dallas that they just should be turned into housing. I mean,
I know that I don't know what Madison was thinking or with the owner, but there was awful office buildings, relatively new, and then COVID hit, and everyone got sent remote, remote, and the place just sat empty. Right? It was probably a $5 million complex, whatever. It was huge. They tore it down, and they built a golf driving range.
I'd check on what the rules are about like golf type things, because golf courses and golf development, that sort of sport development, in the city, it gets taxed like farmland, not like urban area land.
I don't know, but it's pretty much right in the city. But they got big nets going up, so the golf balls can't go out. But right along the road,
some asshole's going to hit it out, and they're going to break somebody's windshield, and there's going to be a hell of a We have those here in Dallas too. Will we ever have a large Epstein release? Yes. What's the election day? November what? And sometime in December, probably on Christmas Eve of 2026.
Well, the new don't take over till January, so
yeah, but there are going to be people trying to buy favors because they know what's coming. So yeah.
Well, we see let's just read on it. I'm gonna throw cards. Well, we see the other half that they're hiding. And it's probably more than 3.5 million files. You're gonna see the other half. You're gonna see the other half of the file. We see the other half of that.
Oh yeah, I got the sun right in the middle, and my first two cards talk about the hiding. I got the sun right in the middle, and it's going to be a judgment day like no one's ever seen, and it's going to give people a right to come in and start the Knight of Wands, start cleaning house.
Yeah. The readings kind of what the felon said. It affects my friends.
Yes.
His happy home of friends at 10 of Cups and 5 of Wands is why it's not being released. But yeah, everything is a distraction right now in the past. 3 of Swords, 6 of Coins, 7 of Cups. Illusions, everything's a distraction. Currently holding on to it with the 4 of Coins, not releasing it. Mostly because of Bondi here with the Queen of Swords. Moving forward, I get the 2 of Swords. There's a path before that's broken, trying to figure it out. Ace of Coins, the material at heart. And then we got Blanche coming in here with the King of Swords. So there's a choice behind, but the outcome. 9 of Swords. Anxieties from the Dark King. Ace of Swords makes her breakthrough. Truth coming out. 6 of Wands. We got a victory and Knight of Cups. That's release. So, when does that show an ending? 6 of Wands, 6 months. Knight of Cups. What was the other one? Ace of Swords, 9. 9 of Swords would be 9. So I get a 6 and a 9. 6 to 9 months. So something's going to happen here that will push the release. If the felon is actually going bye-bye, the big, beautiful obituary could happen quicker. But yeah, I see the release.
I don't understand this question. Oh, Donald Trump Jr. did get married. Okay, now it makes sense. This is a question before. Has ISIS finalized its no bid iris scanning contract that the Project Saltbox reportedly by awarding it 12 billion in tech? I don't know. Something. Oh, two maybe that's the name of the company, 2x2 Technologies, $25.1 million with no oversight. Will these technologies be reeled in?
Yeah. Like I said, the Inspector General is looking at all these no bid contracts through DHS.
Okay. So they're being looked at. So do we really want to? I mean, I can't believe. First of all, they got to find money to do it, and they'd have to. The next Congress ain't going to give them a dime, and they can have all the contracts they want. But we've had contracts before. If we don't have the money to pay for them, they don't have.
Yeah, Inspector Generals take forever, but House Oversight is looking at all these too. But that takes time. Doesn't really get a resolve except getting it out there, and all these people are going to be
I did a one card pull in it. I got the Page of Swords. That's and in this case, that's going to be a no. It's like he's a little liar. They don't believe it. It's not a mature thing. It's a page, and it's swords.
I got the Page of Swords too.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Magician, and then my coins card about giving money away.
Mm-hmm.
And I get Strength card, Wheel of Fortune, Six of Cups. So that's going to be looked into.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything's going to get reeled in here.
Okay.
The grift was so bad in DHS.
Did Don Jr. save his dad a piece of the wedding cake? No.
No, not feeling loved.
No. I think Don Jr. married her. Somehow he can trust her, and Don's shifting all of his money over to her to try and protect it from what's coming for him. That's my feeling.
His new wife has connections to Epstein. Her dad does. Everything's connected.
Do you know what the Hellfire Club was?
No.
Okay. Actually, Benjamin Franklin supposedly belonged to it, but there was a guy in the House of Lords, and it's when the House of Lords ran everything, and it was at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and they created a thing called the Hellfire Club, and the legends on the Hellfire Club are really horrendous. It's like Epstein point one, it's exactly what they did, and they have found the diaries now of men that belong to it who said, well, of course we can do whatever we want to here because we have all the power, and who's going to come get us? It was during that time. And I just watched a thing called After Dark. It's a YouTube show, and they discuss all things weird in British history. And they did a whole expose on what the hell. And I was sitting there going, that's just what we keep thinking we're going to hear from the Epstein files. And it's like 2 centuries old. And Benjamin Franklin did belong to them because there are letters going between him and the guys who ran the thing. And the guy who ran it was a real perv, but the Hellfire Club was a place on the grounds of his estate that was an underground cave. And it's still there. You can go tour it. And you can see the kinds of weird stuff. The biggest thing they did is when they belonged to the Hellfire Club, they dressed up like monks and members of the clergy when they were doing all their weird crap. So they're double crazy. Okay. Has the GOP ever wondered who will be taking care of them in their old age after hurting so many people now?
Has the GOP ever wondered who would take care of them? Oh, they got their money. They got their retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Who's been in there long enough.
And with some luck, some of the people we're thinking about, they'll be collecting it through the jail system. So,
oh, there was a article. I don't remember if I said it last week, but there was an interview with Thomas Massey after he lost, and he claims that maybe only 20% of the Republicans give a crap. 60% of them are only in it for themselves.
Right.
The other 20% will do anything that Trump says. And the other 20% actually care but are afraid to speak out.
Well, they're speaking up in our state. They're not voting in their primaries. We have Paxton Chief Cook and bottle washer running against Cornyn, who's not much better. Yeah.
It's just amazing how they don't care. Destroy the environment, turn back regulations.
Yeah, they want it, and now they want to do. Now they're all jumping into the off-water drilling, deep water drilling. Okay.
Ruining the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Turning back regulations got us 2008, 2009 crack.
Mm-hmm.
It took basically 4 years to get out of it.
Okay. I'm trying to find more questions. We're kind of out of questions, guys. I'm going to go right to the bottom, which I can do. That's kind of the theme of today. Yeah, Kimberly Guilfoyle's got her job being ambassador to Greece. These poor countries were dumping these people were strange, and in a strange White House full of the worst people, they're getting the even stranger ones.
Who's that clown that ran for Senate? And the old ex-football player, they made him ambassador to Jamaica. He lost
to the one that was a football player here. Yeah,
he ran in Georgia against.
Yeah,
I guess he's an ambassador to Jamaica. Unbelievable.
This one is: federal government owes Indiana millions for a detention center. Will the state ever receive the money? No.
Oh, it's just like alligator Alcatraz. Florida never received any money. So Florida ran it, spent $1 billion, and they're shutting it down. Never received any money. Our state in Wisconsin has had those floods and whatnot, and applied to FEMA for money. Yeah, Herschel Walker. And we've been denied by FEMA for any assistance.
Yeah, we got some comments, Macy.
Yep, Kushner's felon father is ambassador to France.
Mm-hmm. It just goes on. Anyway, Scott, let's give your back a rest. Scott's been here.
Well, I'm not feeling too bad. We can go whenever you can't find anymore.
I think we're running into talking about the big.
Spill the team. All right, let's read on that.
Which one?
What's Thomas Massey going to do with his last 7 months?
Okay.
There's been a lot of talk. People looked into Massey's election, and it makes no sense how he lost. The numbers don't add up.
It's okay, because the Dems at least the Dems this time had people in place to be able to run for all those offices.
That Ed guy got like 50 donations from in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Massey got a ton of support, grassroots. Ed had like 50 people or so at his, winning party.
Mm-hmm.
Massey had thousands at his concession speech. The numbers do not add up.
We may have more questions, Scott. Somebody just put in that she read today that Obama's being arrested. So
Sure he is.
in Felon's head.
What's the?
Oh yes, he is going to tell us everything he knows. He's going to be a warning person. He's setting a whole new set of goals for himself. He wants the Eight of Pentacles to is what he's looking at doing, and he wants to get the King of Cups. Yeah, fat cat sitting in a bathtub. Yes, he's going to come after them all.
In the past, he's letting go. Feeling betrayed, defending himself. For some reason, he's got sleepless nights going on right now with the Nine of Swords. How to move forward. He's kind of heartbroken of how this went down. But he's going to start out new with the Queen of Cups. Improvement. Moving forward, he's going to set up some boundaries with the Seven of Wands. Again, we get some grief. Five of Cups. But he's got a new life cycle coming with the Wheel of Fortune.
Yep.
Karma, movement forward. Outcome, he's going to start doing some new things. The Page of Swords, being a spy, clever. Hermit, little introspection, how to move forward, soul searching. Going to have success with the world, fulfillment, and then a little bit of rest. So he's going to take a little time out, but I see he's going to try his best to change things. On the bottom, I think he's going to take on the Emperor. So he's not going to go out. It doesn't feel like he's going to go out guns a-blazing. Oh, well, they're off for a few weeks, so that makes sense with the rest in corporation, trying to figure out what he's doing. Yeah, they're home. They're home until June, so. Carrie, will the Epstein files be released? We read on that earlier, and that eventually, yes, they're coming out. It may be 6 to 9 months.
Okay, I got a bunch more starred, so. Yeah, somebody just put a whole bunch of people popped on and said they've been reading for weeks that Obama's about to be arrested, so we don't need to worry because we can't do that either. Will there be any repercussions about Hegseth and Pastel for allowing their wives and girlfriends into top security meetings?
I really think it feels like inspector generals are looking at them. There's so much criminality.
There's only so many inspector generals to go around, too.
Yeah, there's not many left.
I know.
Then we have our transportation secretary running around the country.
Getting on the roads before he pulls all the federal gas tax and we don't have roads anymore. No, I don't get anything's going to happen to the wives. They're protected. They're going to think, well, they just got dragged along by their husbands, but everything else is no's, and it doesn't. They're not nice pictures of the husbands. They're like the husband should have been protecting them, and they were exposing them and all that stuff. So I get.
And just getting the past. It's coming to light what's going on, but a corrupt deal. But they got the backing of the federal government, and I don't get any repercussions either. I get protection, Knight of Coins, King of Cups, so I don't see any investigations with them. Of what they're,
Maybe they figure having been married to these guys was more than enough punishment. HUD told no longer to accept service animals, can kick people out with no repercussions. And this person has a service animal that looks a lot like a cat, Sage Burner. That's
if you have a loan through HUD or something.
No, this is where they run housing. Like they run housing for the elderly and stuff.
Right.
They can do do things like that. But
this is ridiculous.
I'm going to ask if this is going to get changed, just because I want to get a yes answer for once. Oh, yes. Oh, did I get a yes answer?
Yeah, I think this is ridiculous. Changed. This is a disaster. I get the Tower, the Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, and the government.
I got the nine.
Failure, hardship to protect. This is wrong.
Yeah. I got this is all going to change completely. None of this stuff is set. Got the Page of Wands. That's the people who are trying to make these sorts of deals. It's going to move on swiftly. Six of Swords. Move on to a new place. I got that they want to create safe places for people to live. And the end is the Nine of Wands. They're going to create an area where people are safe. No, they're not just going to be able to throw you out because you looked at them cross-eyed. Or your skin color wasn't right, or you didn't speak English, one of those reasons. Oh, here's a good one. Will the White House be designated as a crime scene?
I see a lot of people mentioning going after the president's funds eventually and make him pay for the remodel of the East Wing.
Yeah, and also make them pay for the unwiring of all the Russian spy things that have been put in there. I don't know who Ashley St. Clair is, so I don't know how I can do a reading on how truthful she is. Who's Ashley St. Clair?
She's one of the baby mamas of Elon.
Oh.
And she was in the MAGA world for like a decade. She's burning the house down, spilling the tea on everybody on her TikTok and social media, doing podcasts, whatever. Lately, she just said Elon was telling her he had the 24 election secured using his space lasers or whatever technology, and told her that Trump was going to win.
Which pill had he taken right before he said that? She's truthful.
She's about
as truthful as people she's been hanging out with. I don't get a lot of good vibes off this reading.
I guess she's burning it down. She decided to take a new path because she got torched. She's coming into the Queen of Swords against the structure of the right-wingers. It was a dark time in her life. And she's coming out as the Empress, the Page of Cups, and intelligent. So I get she's being truthful.
Okay. Well, I think she may be truthful. But she's listening to a liar. Thank you, Rose Blue.
Yeah, back then, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Rose Blue.
She posted pictures of people. She posted pictures of people that are watching her.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like what she's saying, and she's got like private investigators or whatever hanging out watching her. Weird cars outside her door.
Anyway, this is a good question. What can America do to prevent a dangerously mentally ill person from the presidency in the future? Get out and vote.
Have an FBI that actually stands up and say, no, you're not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
They had an FBI file on the frickin' felon. They should have went to the GOP or him exactly. He's like, no, you will not be on the ballot. It's ridiculous. That man should never been able to run.
No.
You need better laws.
That would help. Hey, Scott, you want to pull a card for today?
Ban all right-wing media.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. There's a reader named Midlife Psychic, and she did a reading on a movie that John Carpenter directed in the 1980s, and it's called They Live. And she did a whole, it's very interesting. If you go look at it, it talks, the whole movie was basically written in 1986. And it's how these guys, when they got these certain sunglasses, they could put them on and they could see what the real intention was of the headlines, how the exposure to media. The whole thing's basically how this exposure to media has, what it's cost everyone and what it would eventually cost everyone. And YouTube has it set up. So if you go to YouTube Movies, you can see it for free with ads, but free. And Cindy, the reader, is very interesting. It's a very interesting perspective. When I watched the movie, I went, holy shit. I mean, it's like that. So go if you have some spare time, and the movie's only like 100, it's like an hour and 25 minutes or something. So it's not going to like Lord of the Rings. It's going to eat your whole weekend. Let's see what we got so go over and look at that. What have I got going? I've got this going. I've got my 9 candles. I'm already taped up to the 5th day. And that starts on the 1st it starts actually on the 31st of May. Danny and I are going to do an introduction to how all the 9 candles work and what's the energy behind it. I'm really excited. We're building the energy of our community up to the conjunction of Venus and Jupiter, which is a wonderful conjunction considering the conjunctions we've had going on around us. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm finishing some grids. I've been doing a bunch of readings, talking to a lot of folks. What you been up to, Scott, outside of talking politics on Sunday?
Just working my butt off. Losing another driver. And no one's applying. Makes for long days and stress.
So if you know a driver that wants a job that's in Wisconsin.
The problem is no one nowadays, it seems like no one can pass a drug test.
Oh, well, that's possible too.
So I get the Queen of Winter to start out as being self-sufficient, strong, patient, but it's also letting go of things that don't serve you. Six of Summer is 6 of Cups, going back to an innocent time.
Uh-huh.
Return to things that make you feel good, be happy, and then the lovers. Long-lasting love, true to yourself, and returning to good health. So our lives are much better, obviously, when we let go of things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's returning to self-love, returning to good childhood memories that make you feel better. Go ahead.
Okay. What I pulled today is Sodalite. And Sodalite, be free to express who you really are by following your truth. And Sodalite is like a blue stone with little white dots and stuff in it. Sound the drums, voices singing, dancers manifesting from around the fire, howling of wolves, echoing ceremonial rhythms around us, releasing the true essence under a starlit sky. Freedom to be oneself, regardless of the judgment of others. I am the spirit of Sodalite. Come to me, liberate, and transform your ego into a communication that is constructive, authentic, and sincere. First and foremost, you do you. So that's this coming week, guys. So that guy looks pretty naked in that drawing. I would not suggest dancing naked around a campfire. Sparks fly, can become painful. But somebody says she could pass a drug test, Scott, but she's not sure. She said even her Toyota Highlander is too big for her to navigate.
Yeah, all the truckers I see on the road too are aging.
That's true. Well, you lost a lot of truckers during COVID. Nationally, that was one of the areas that when they tracked the occupation of the people who died, there was a lot of drivers that died of COVID.
A lot retired during COVID and didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's not a job you can call in. Anyway, so everybody take care. I'm going to have my show on Tuesday, and I think I'm not sure what I'm doing on Tuesday, but because right now I'm in the middle of taping a lot of the last 4 candles of the 9 candles and the introductory show and getting all that set up so you can see it. It'll be on as a premiere. If you are on my channel, if you are subscribed, you will get notices. Oh, that's the other thing is YouTube's changed its subscription policy, and it used to be when you clicked the little button and made it dark, it meant that you'd get all of our things we were ever sending out to you. Well, now they've changed that, so when you click on the little bell, you have the options you had before, but you have a thing called personalized. And what they did to all the people who had checked all, they made them personalized. So they follow what you followed. But that doesn't mean you're going to see everybody's notifications, because I was not getting notified, and I had readers telling me, well, I'm going to be reading that day. And I started opening it up and looking at it, and they did that little change. And I can tell you, if you're a creator, they don't tell you that. And there's a lot of people who are thinking they're getting shadow banned and stuff. And it's that change happened, and then people just don't know when they're on. So if you have a reader that you've been missing, or if you join someone, if you're subscribed, or if you're subscribed to my channel, go check and make sure you've clicked the notification for all. Yeah, I do send things out, but I only send things out when I think it's something I think you want to see. And I won't make decisions about and somebody else is saying, some people are saying you need to check your subs every 2 weeks or so. And some people are saying YouTube's unsubscribed them. And I know that's happened because they've unsubscribed me. So I'm just saying, YouTube is not the environment we're going. Although, Scott, I'll send you the video. There was, there's a group of young providers that they're still raking in the ad revenue off of them, but they're not paying them. They demonetize them. And the guys posted, this isn't an answer. And, I can't write to a machine and get an answer about what's going on here. So a bunch of them gotten together, or some lawyers decided he likes his YouTube the way it used to be. Anyway, they're suing YouTube for them to open up what that demonetization really means. Mm-hmm. So we knew that was going to come. So everybody, take care. Have a lovely Memorial Day. And try to avoid rain. I saw this big splotch of green on the U.S. map. This is where it could rain. And I'm like, well, where's it not going to rain? Apparently in that place in California that has the leaking tank. And send thoughts and prayers to people who live in those areas that have become threatened, because that could really hurt, kill, and maim a lot of people. So everybody take care. And Scott and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.